While I was working on that, while the lathe was working on that, I was working on something else. My wife needs a cane, so we've got a bunch of these sticks that we got a few years ago. I don't know, California or someplace. I think this is a manzanita, pretty tough, and it's pretty well cured. So I've been scraping it down. I'm going to clean it up and see if I can make a cane with this. Probably steam it a little bit and put a little bit more of a bend in there and take the bark off of that, polish it up, and I think that'll make a good cane for her. We'll see. Well, I'm working on a stick. This is a madrone stick or manzanita stick that I had there up at the house. I was scraping the bark off of it and I got it all cleaned up, but it had a natural bend right here. There's a knot right there and had a natural bend in there, but it only came out at about 60 degrees or so, which wasn't very good for using for a cane. So I've heated this up. What I did here is I got a pot on the stove and I got water in there and I just covered it up with a little bit of tin foil, and I'm steaming that, and I let it steam there for about 20 minutes or so, and then I was able to bend this handle. It's not quite 90 degrees now, but it's pretty close to it, close enough, and there's plenty of flex in that, so when you put your weight on it, it actually just springs down a little bit. Then this comes down. It's going to be a little bit knobby anyway. It's bendy. It's a natural piece of wood, and I don't want to take any of that away from it, but it had a pretty good bend in it right here. So I've steamed that, and I've taken that bend out of it, kind of straightened it out a little bit. Now there's a big wow in it in here, and I've just put that on the stove. I've just put that on the steam, and we'll let that cook for about 20-30 minutes or so, and then I'll see if I can get that bend out of it. And then down here, I might have to do twice on that, because that comes down and then it comes up like this and then goes down again and then straightens out. So I might have to, I don't know whether I can take that all out of there at once or not. I might have to do it, part of it and then another part of it. And then down here we got a little doe's foot on it in here, a little ankle on it. I'm probably going to leave that there and leave that natural, because this thing's going to get cut off somewhere in this area, and then we'll trim it down and put a crutch tip on it or some kind of a tip on it there. But anyway, that's coming along nicely now. That's once I get that all done, then we'll hit some sandpaper, sand it down, and put some finish on it. Probably put some on it. I'm probably going to leave that there and leave that natural, because this thing's going to get cut off somewhere in this area, and then we'll trim it down and put a crutch tip on it or some kind of a tip on it there. But anyway, that's coming along nicely now. That's once I get that all done, then we'll hit some sandpaper, sand it down, and put some finish on it. Probably put some linseed oil in it, like I did the yellow cedar for the rail on the stairs going up the house. Well, anyway, this is how it's working. I was trying to figure out some way to make a steam box and all kinds of things on how to do it. I was going to do it outside, and I was looking for all my parts to make a steam box. It's been probably 20 years since I've steamed anything. But I got to looking at it and thinking about it, and this looked like a way that would probably work. Just on the kitchen oven here, kitchen range here, just heating up a pot of water on it, a little bit of tin foil on there to hold the steam in a little bit, and it's working. No need to make a great big steam box and a big production for that. That's not perfectly straight, but it's a lot better than it was. There was a pretty good bend in it right here, pretty good bend, and I got most of that out of there. That's good enough. I could go ahead and put that in there some more and take some more of that out, but this is going to be cut off right about there. And we don't need to make it look perfect anyway. I don't know, maybe I will take that out of there just a little bit. I'll try. What I did was, steamed that, got that good and hot, with the steam, and then I just put it over the chair like this, and put my hand, it's hot right there, but I put my hand on each side of that and just push down on it pretty hard until I got that to come out of there to straighten out. I think I'll do a little bit more on that one. This is where the big kink was right here, and that's mostly out of there. Now we got a secondary bend the opposite direction here. It was almost like an S there. I think maybe I'll take that out of there just a little bit more. Yeah, sure, why not? Okay, I'll do that. So, what the heck happened to my steam? I'm losing my steam. There we go. There we go. I'll get that right there like that. Turn the water up a little, the temperature up a little bit. It's steaming. I'll put the aluminum foil back over that and get her cooking again. Now I'm going to try something here just because I can. I've got this cane, this stick that I've been working on. I've got it marked here where I'm going to cut it off. And I just brought it up here to the basement and put it in the lathe. I'm going to try cutting it off with a cut-off tool and see how that works. And then maybe I might trim this back a little bit here to put a socket on that. We'll see how that goes. Well, anyway, we'll give it a shot, give it a try and see what happens. Well, that worked pretty good. Got a nice square cut on there now, and a nice stick left over. Let's see here. For wood, it could probably go a heck of a lot faster, but I've got that whole cane unsupported hit through the headstock and it's sticking out the back side, so it gets a little bit wobbly there. If I don't want to turn it up any higher than it is. Okay, that's far enough. I'm just going to go ahead and feather that out now, fair that down. That, of course, is not round, the stick's not round, and so that's a little oblong there, but where that cut is, I'm just going to fair it out. So I think that'll do it. I'll take that out of there, sand it down some more, fair that end out, and then see what we go from there. So there's what it looks like on the end. And I'll put the crutch tip on there, but that's going to fit on there tight, so I'm not going to fit that on there until I get done with it here. So I'll sand that out or file that out down there and spare it smooth, and then sand this out a little bit more. Good, I didn't make any marks. There's a little bit of a mark from the chuck right there. So those will sand out. So I'll do that now. I got the cane out of the lathe and I sanded it down a little bit more. It's going to have some nicks and stuff in it, but that's just the way it's going to be. It's a piece of wild wood. So got it out of the lathe. I went ahead and polished this end down a little bit here and fared that out where I trimmed it down on the lathe. And then I've started rubbing in some linseed oil, some boiled linseed oil. And this thing is darkened up a little bit and taken a little shine, not a bright shine, but a nice pretty shine. And that, see, that's darkened up there, and that where the knot is and stuff on that. So that's, just hand rub that in and get some friction on it and get it warmed up and get it soaked into that wood. I think that's about all it's going to take, though. This is pretty dense wood here. It's looking pretty good. But this wood was cut, I don't know how long ago, 10, 12 years ago, and it's been in storage since then. It's been out, not outside in the weather, but out in the bathhouse there where it's not dried out, but had a chance to cure. So liable to dry and check a little bit now. Maybe, I don't know, this madrone or manzanita is supposed to be famous for checking and cracking, but this is a pretty small piece, and I get this oil in it, maybe it'll soak in there and keep it from checking anymore. But looking pretty good. Now, Judy was kind of disappointed that I didn't leave the bark on there because it has that nice pretty red bark when I'd peeled it all off. So the second one that I did, I tried to leave the bark on it, but when I stuck it in the steam just hardened the bark up and caused it to peel right off. So that didn't work out very well. It'd be alright if you were just using a natural walking stick or something like that, but if you want to bend it, or that other one had a little crook in the handle up here, and I bent it down a little bit more, and then I had to straighten out a couple of big crooks in it. And if a person wanted to leave those in them, or found a stick that was straight enough to do without it, then that would work out okay. But once you steam them, so now this one was steamed. This had a natural bend in it here that was about like that, so I steamed it and bent it down to where it's almost 90, and then it had a couple pretty good kinks in it here, pretty good wows in it here that I steamed out. But it's still a little gnarly down here. It's still bent. I didn't get it perfectly straight. I'll put the crutch tip on it, the end on it, take it up to the house, and surprise Judy with it in the morning, I guess. She should be in bed by now. Now here's my cane tip. I'll just slide that right on there. There we go. That squeezed a little bit of the juice out of that end. That's all right. You want plenty of oil down in that end to soak in that end grain. But there's Judy a walking stick, cane. Well, there's Judy with her cane. She doesn't need it anymore. Been almost 6 months since she broke her leg.
5.
Almost 6. Anyway, there she is. We used it in Florida a little bit, but she's getting around pretty good. But anyway, there's her cane and a handrail that we made for her. And she uses the handrail, but she doesn't use the cane for anything but to hit me with. So, how'd you like the cane?
I love the cane. It's beautiful. See this? Look at it. pretty. Just the right height for short people.
Made to fit.
Yep, made to fit.
Just from an old stick. Okay.
Manzanita stick.
Yeah, or Madrone or Manzanita.
Oh.
Either one. I think it's Manzanita though.
It's red though.
Yeah. Okay.